could you explain when and how to use the past simple tense and when to use the past perfect tense? So the past simple tense, guys, remember which one that is? The past simple tense, I went, he looked, they thought, okay? There's no have in there. But whenever it's a perfect tense, there is some kind of conjugation of have before the past participle. So in the case of the past perfect, I had been, I had gone, I had thought, I had seen, okay? So when do we use these? We use both of these to talk about past events, okay? Obviously, past simple, past perfect, talking about the past. Pretty self-explanatory. But the past perfect is used to talk about an event that happened in the past before another event in the past. That is when we start using the past perfect. You won't often hear this on its own in a sentence. You know, he had been there. You won't often hear that unless it's in the context of something that someone else has already said, setting up two events in the past. Okay, and it always indicates the event that is further back in the past. Okay, so the simple past will be the closer to the present but still in the past event, and the past perfect will be the event that happened before the other event that you've used in the past simple. Let's go through some examples. Last year, she learnt French. So last year, it's over. We use the simple perfect, the simple past. We use the past simple tense because that event is completely finished. Last year. That year is finished. It's last year. It's not this year. Last year. We use the simple past because it's completely done. Right? So she learnt French last year. If now we want to also talk about something that she had done before, and notice I just used it, something she had done before she learnt French last year, we have to now use the past perfect tense. We have to use the past perfect tense. So we could say last year she learnt French. After she did this, after this thing, she did this after, she learnt French after she had already learnt German. So she'd done this thing already, she had done, she'd done, notice that I contracted it there, she'd done, she had done, she'd learnt French, or she'd learnt German, and then she learnt French. So it gives context about which one happened first. Had is always further back in the past. Let's go through another example. Last week, we travelled to Queensland. So we're just using that one clause in that sentence, or there's two clauses. Last week, we travelled to Queensland. There's nothing else to put it in the context of. Last week is finished, so we use the past simple. Last week, we travelled to Queensland. But now if I want to talk about something that we did before we travelled to Queensland, I have to use the past perfect. Last week we travelled to Queensland, but before that, we had asked to get time off work. We had asked to get time off work before we went to Queensland last week. Both events in the past. We had asked to get time off work first in the past, and then more recently, but still in the past, we travelled to Queensland. We went to Queensland. We saw Queensland. We flew to Queensland. But that was only after we had got time off work. We had asked for time off work. We had accepted getting time off work. Makes sense. One more example here. Let's see if you... Okay, I want to say that I go to school, but I want to do this in the simple past, guys. How would you change the sentence I go to school for yesterday I beep something to school? Yesterday I something to school. What's the verb? How would you conjugate it? Put the answer in the comments here. Yesterday, instead of I go to school, I simple past of to go to school. What would you put there? What would you put there, guys? It's got to be the simple past. It's got to be the simple past. Exactly, Omar's nailed it. Yesterday, I went to school. Today, I will go to school if it's later on, okay? Yesterday, I went to school. Now, if we want to talk about what I did before I went to school, and I want to talk about waking up, okay? So I want to talk about I was asleep, and then I woke up but I did that before I went to school. How would I say to wake up before I went to school? How would you conjugate to wake up? I did that thing before I went to school. And remember, past perfect. How would you conjugate that, guys? The verb to wake up, something something, before I went to school. Let's see if any of you can get this. Okay, remember, past perfect, past perfect. No. Close, Lima. That's it. Hoda pretty much got it, but it should be I had woken up. Hoda, not I had woke up. Woke up is the past participle for the simple past, but with some of these irregular verbs, we have to say I had woken up. Okay, but you got it. You got the idea. I had woken up before I went to school. Waking up happened before going to school. Both of these things happen in the past, so we use the past perfect to put that waking up before going to school. Simple enough. I think you guys get it. I've drilled that into you, but one last time. Simple past. Any event that's happened in the past and the time in which that event could occur doesn't include the present. But if you want to put it in the context of another event that happened before it, you have to use the past perfect. So that's it. I guess one last little note here for you guys. You will notice that there are other words in these sentences that give away the order. That doesn't always happen, but most of the time there will be context. Like, I had woken up once I went to school. Or actually, no, it should be the other way around. I had gone to school once I woke up. See, even I screw these up, guys. I did this after I had done that, or I had done that before I did this. So you'll hear words like before, after, once, when, and that'll give context quite often to the order of these things, even if you miss, was that in the past perfect, or was it in the past simple? So there you go.